Okay, so if you talk about the trading strategies using the bond, there are two things you can keep in the mind in a basically the what we can say that in the true sense, that because the coupon and term to maturity are the major factors which is affecting the price of the bond due to the change in the interest rate, then if you are expecting that the interest rate is going to decline, so if the interest rate is going to decline in the future, then today what kind of bond you are trying to invest? You will go for a long maturity and less coupon bonds, or a high coupon bonds having the short maturity? Can you tell me very fast? If you are expecting that the interest rate is going to uh, decrease in the future, then which type of bond will be preferable for you? Whether it is a long maturity and less coupon bonds, or it is a short maturity high coupon bonds?
Short maturity, high coupon.
Short maturity high coupon bonds. Why?
Long maturity.
So interest rate is going to decrease, right?
Yes.
So okay, so we like it can't be we will not be willing to reinvest. So I think long maturity. No, sir.
No,
I
no, I'm
think
not talking
short
about the
maturity.
reinvestment. I'm talking from the bond investment point of view. If you are expecting that the interest rate is going to increase, then what you will get? If the interest rate will increase, then what will happen to the price of the bond?
It will fall.
It will fall. It will fall or it will increase. If the interest rate is going to decline, then this price of the bond will increase or decrease.
So at one time you are saying interest rate is rising and
Oh,
one
sorry,
time
sorry,
decreasing.
sorry.
So
Okay,
I'm
okay.
getting
Okay,
confused.
maybe it is I used it wrongly. So we are talking about the condition of declining interest rate, right? You keep in the beginning whatever I asked. So if this interest rate is going to decline, then the price of the bond is going to increase. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in that case, you want the bonds with the maximum interest rate sensitivity, so that you can enjoy this maximum price change or the capital gain from that particular bond. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
As an investor, you can expect that. So which type of bond will give you the highest sensitivity if there is a change in interest rate? The price
Long
sensitivity.
maturity.
Okay, it is basically long maturity with low coupons. Yes or
Yes, sir.
no? Yeah.
So if we
Yes.
see from reinvestment point of view and from bond price point of view, then we are getting contradicting results, right?
That's why I'm coming to that. But you just don't consider the reinvestment part here, right? We are talking about
Okay,
only
sir.
the return from the bonds, right? So whenever you talk about this price fluctuation or price sensitivity with respect to the bond due to the change in interest rate, then if the interest rate is going to decline, then we can expect, or we should always expect, that the sensitivity of the price with respect to the change in interest rate should be higher for the bonds having the long maturity and low coupons. So in that case, what will happen, that the investor may be inclined to invest in that kind of bond. So again, if you are expecting that interest rate or market interest rate is going to increase, so in that case, you just go for the short maturity bonds with the high coupons. So in this combination, basically, if you go for this kind of combination, you should experience the minimum price volatility for a change in the market interest rate in that particular point of time. So overall, what basically we can say here, that because the price volatility or interest rate sensitivity of the bond varies inversely with the coupon and positively with the term to maturity, always it is essential or it is necessary to determine the best combination of these two variables to achieve your objective. Which particular combination is the best combination? By that your objective can be fulfilled. So that particular thing always we should keep in the mind whenever we try to invest in the bond. So in this regard, what we are trying to do, we generally consider a composite measure of the interest rate sensitivity of a bond. Okay, we always go for analyzing a composite measure of interest rate sensitivity of a bond, and that composite measure is nothing but, generally in our language we call it the duration. That is called the duration. So duration is a concept which is basically is used for the bond market to understand that how the coupon and as well as the maturity period is linked to the bond investment strategy. So what exactly the duration? There are different type of duration. I will discuss one by one. But the first concept of duration was given by Maclay. So that's why we call it the Maclay's duration. So Maclay duration, what basically it measures, what it shows? It basically shows the duration of a bond is a more appropriate measure of the time characteristics than the term to maturity. So duration is a literary term, it is only the time, but in a technical term, from the bond investment point of view, it is relatively different. So basically Maclay is trying to show that duration of a bond is a better or appropriate measure of the time characteristics than term to maturity, because the duration basically considers both the repayment of the capital at the maturity and as well as the size and timing of the coupon payments prior to the maturity, prior to the final maturity. Duration is a measure which considers the coupon, the term to maturity, and as well as the repayment what you are going to get, or the par value of the particular bond what you are going to get in the end of the period. So duration is basically measured in that way. So other way I can tell you, it is basically a weighted average of the bond's time period. It is basically a weighted average of bonds time periods. And how the weights are given? The weights are basically given on basically on the basis of the time relative to the present value of that particular cash flow in that particular time. So here, whenever we talk about the duration, how it is basically measured. So if I write, already I told you, just I am writing it through the formula. The Maclay's duration is calculated in this way. It is summation T is equal to 1 to N, your cash flow T divided by 1 plus I to the power T. It is nothing but the present value of the cash flow at the period time divided by your price of the bond. Your price of the bond also T is equal to 1 to N, your CT divided by 1 plus I to the power T. Or I can write it in this way also. Your T is equal to 1 to N. 1 to N. You can take the time here. It is the present value of the cash flow at the period time T divided by your price of the bond. Price of the bond. So the T has to be multiplied with the present value of the cash flow divided by the price of the bond. So this is the way basically the duration is calculated. So here The duration considers the coupon, which is basically has to be discounted with respect to the market interest rate, and it also considers the time period or the maturity period. Then accordingly, it basically gives you a weighted average of the time. And the weights are given on the basis of this. The weights are basically given on the basis of the present value of the cash flow to the price of the bond. So let us take one example. Then we can it will be clear for you that what we are trying to explain in this case. So let me take a bond. Let's take two bonds for our explanation. I will take bond A and I will take bond B. So there are two bonds. Let this face value of the bond, I will consider this is 1000, this is also 1000. Then maturity period, the maturity I will consider this is also 10 years, this is also 10 years. And coupon I will vary to explain certain things. The coupon here I will take 4% and here I will take 8%. I will also consider the yield to maturity or the interest rate. The yield to maturity or interest rate is 8%. Then what basically we can do? We have to the duration we can is computed by discounting the cash flows using the yield to maturity of that particular bond. That is basically 8%. So what basically you can do? These are the year. Okay. So we have how many years? 1, 2. Maturity period is 10 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And if I take here the cash flow, I will take the present value at 8%. I will take the PV of the cash flow. Then we can take the present value as a percentage of price, which is the weight. Then here basically T into. So if we give the column wise, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. Then this will be basically this is 1, and this is basically your 1 into 5. Column 1 into column 5. Then we can take the summation of that. That will give you the duration. So if you go by this bond, then it will be 40, 40, 40, 40, and so on. In the end of the period, you will get 1040. So if you discount it, if you can calculate the present value of the cash flows, then this is the present value factor I am writing: 0.9259, 0.8573, 0.7938, and so on. And in the end, it will be 0.4632. So then you can multiply this with this. The present value of the cash flows, you can get it here. Let 37.04, 34.29, then you have 31.75, and so on. In the end, you will get 481.73. So the total present value you will get, that is basically your 731.58. So that is basically nothing but the price of the bond. Then for each period, you calculate this present value divided by this or the percentage of this. Then it will be 37.04 divided by 731.58. That will be 0.0506. Then it will be your 34.29 divided by 731.58. That will give you 0.0469, and so on. In the end, it will be 481.73 divided by your 731.58. That will give you 0.6585. Then the total will be equal to 1. These are the basically the weights. Then this one multiplied by 1, then it will be 0.0506 into 1 is equal to 0.0506. it will be 0.0469 multiplied by 2. That will be 0.0938, and so on. Then the end it will be 6.5850. So the total, if you get a summation of all, you will get 8.1193. So this 8.1193 is basically your duration. So here the weights are given on the basis of the present value of the cash flows, and with respect to that price of that particular bond, what basically you are calculating. Is it clear? Yes. Hello. Ravi.
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Priyanka?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay. So in the same way, if you go for the bond B, and bond B basically the coupon is 8%. The coupon is 8%. So this is basically, this duration is measured in terms of the years. That means it is approximately 8.12 years. So now, if you go by the second bond where the coupon is 8%, if you go by the same way, you will find that your duration will be coming 7.25 years. So for this, your D is equal to 8.12, and for this, your D is equal to 7.25. Okay. So here, certain characteristics we can observe. Certain characteristics we can observe from this example. What characteristics we can observe with respect to the duration? First, the duration, the macular duration of a bond with coupon payments always will be the less than the term to maturity. So here the term to maturity was 10 years. Here also it was 10 years. But the duration, whenever we have calculated, so duration was less than the term to maturity. This is the number one. So the D is always less than the term to maturity. What are the other things we have observed? We have also observed there is inverse relationship between coupon and the duration. So whenever the coupon was 4%, the duration was 8.12. Keeping other characteristics remain same, whenever the coupon was 8%, the duration becomes 7.25. So there is an inverse relationship with coupon with the duration. The coupon is more, then the duration will be less. So that is basically another characteristics or another observation what we can get it from here. What is the duration of a zero coupon bond? Can you tell me? Hello?
It will be term to maturity.
Yeah. For a zero coupon bond, your duration is equal to term to maturity. If there is only a single cash flow involved, so in that case, your duration will be equal to term to maturity. Then another, you can also observe, you can take another example also in that case. There is a positive relationship between the term to maturity and the duration. The duration is directly proportional to the term to maturity. Obviously, if the term to maturity will be more, then the duration also will be more. But another thing you can also find out, the duration increases at a decreasing rate with the maturity. If the maturity is increasing at a particular rate, then your duration will basically increase at a lower rate. So the duration increases at a decreasing rate with maturity. Therefore, the bond with longer term maturity almost always will have a higher duration. Okay. So this is basically another thing you can observe always. And another also characteristics you can observe, there is one inverse relationship between the yield to maturity and the duration. Yield to maturity and the duration. Your interest rate, your market interest rate is inversely related to the duration. If the yield to maturity is increasing, then your duration will be declining. Obviously, that will happen because it will affect the present value of this particular cash flow. So a higher yield to maturity of a bond reduces its duration. That is what basically you can always observe. So this is another characteristics you can get it from there. So here, so already I have told you that the duration of a zero coupon bond will be always equal to term to maturity. The duration of a coupon bond is always less than the term to maturity. There is an inverse relationship between the coupon and the duration. There is a positive relationship between the term to maturity and duration. And there is an inverse relationship between yield to maturity and the duration. And if there is a provisions for the call provisions or put provisions of that particular bond, then also that will affect the value of the duration. The value of the duration gets affected due to any kind of embedded feature which is available or which is involved with respect to that particular bond. So that concept is called the McLeod's duration. Then another concept also we have, that is called, because this particular kind of duration measure does not consider the frequency of the cash flow payments. So in that case, we have one adjusted measure of the duration that also we consider. So the adjusted measure of duration is called the modified duration. The adjusted measure of the duration is called the modified duration. So what is modified duration? The modified duration basically always can be used to approximate the interest rate sensitivity of a bond. So modified duration, if you want to measure, we'll see that how the price sensitivity is linked to that particular modified duration. So here the modified duration is calculated in this way. If I write d mod modified, that will be basically nothing but we can say that McLeod's duration. Okay, that is basically nothing but the McLeod's duration, whatever you have. McLeod's duration divided by 1 plus your yield to maturity YTM divided by the frequency of the payments, frequency of the coupon payments. Let 2 times every 6 months that is paid, then it will be 2. Every 6 months it is 4 months it is paid, then divided by it will be basically 3, like that. So that is basically will give you, for example, your McLeod's duration is let duration will be 10 by 1 plus let your DM McLeod's duration is 10, yield to maturity is 8%, and coupon is paid semi-annually. Coupon paid semi-annually. Then it will be 1 plus 0.08 divided by 2. That means it is 10 by 1.04. That will be 9.62. Okay. So what is the use of this modified duration? So this is the adjusted duration measure, which basically also captures the the frequency of the coupon payments. So in that case, how basically this it is helping us. The price movement of a bond will vary proportionally with the modified duration for small changes in the yield. Therefore, you can find out the percentage change in the bond price due to change in the interest rate if you know this modified duration of that particular bond. If you know this modified duration of that particular bond, then if there is a change in interest rate, then it will be possible for you to find out the percentage change in the bond price of that particular bond. So what is the formula for here? The formula is basically your delta P by P into 100 is equal to minus D your modified into delta I. So your delta P is the change in the price of the bond. P is equal to the beginning price of the bond. D modified is basically the modified duration. We are putting minus sign because there is one inverse relationship between the change in the yield and the price change. Then here the yield change is basically what? That is basically your change in the interest rate. What is the change in the interest rate? For example, let this D is equal to 8 years, I is equal to 10%. Okay, it is the Macaulay duration. So your modified duration will be that will be 8 by, then coupon is paid semi-annually. Then your modified duration will be 8 by 1.05. Let that is 7.62. So let you assume the interest rate has changed by 0.75%. Interest rate has changed by 0.75%. Then how we can calculate the change in the bond price? So the percentage change in the bond price, if you want to calculate, that is basically your modified duration. That is your minus, you have to put the minus sign, minus 7.62 into 0.75. That means this interest rate has, if interest rate has declined, then you can put minus. Let the interest rate was 10%. It has come down to 9.25%. Interest has come down to 9.25%. Then it is minus 7.62 into minus 0.75. That will be 5.72. This is basically percentage in the delta P. So what it indicates? It indicates that the bond price will increase by 5.72% in response to the 0.75% decline in the interest rate. So if the price of a bond rate was 900 before the change in interest rate, then now what is the price of the bond? Now the price of the bond will be 900 into 1.0572. That will be 951.48. So that's why the interest rate will increase by or decrease by 7.75. Then your price of the bond will increase to 951.48, which is nothing but the 5.72%. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello,
It's clear.
Yes, sir.
Ravi, is it okay? Devika?
Yes, sir, it is clear.
Yes, sir.
So if you know the modified duration, then if there is a change in interest rate, then how the price of the bond is going to be changed, that basically you can always find out from this. So in this case, if you expect how you can use this modified duration for your trading strategy. So if you expect a decline in the interest rate, you should increase the average modified duration of your portfolio to experience the maximum price volatility. If you expect an increase in the interest rate, then you should reduce this modified duration of your portfolio to minimize your price decline. So in this case, I have used this word portfolio. So how the duration of a portfolio is calculated? How the duration of a portfolio is calculated? Portfolio means it is a combination of the different bonds. So if you want to calculate the duration of a portfolio, it is basically nothing but dp is equal to your summation I is equal to 1 to I is equal to 1 to n, your wi into di. So that means it is the weighted, basically the market value weighted average of the modified duration or the McLeish duration of the individual bonds in that particular portfolio. So in this case, what is the W? The W is basically the proportion of funds allotted to each bond. That means, let you have 1,000 rupees, then you have allotted, let you have invested in 2 bonds. So let you have used 600 for rupees you have invested in 1 bond and 400 rupees in another bond. Then we can basically this is first bond is the 0.6 weight and this will be 0.4 weight. So that will give you, that means your 0.6 multiplied by the duration of the first bond plus your 0.4 multiplied by the duration of the second bond. That will give you basically the duration of that particular portfolio. So this is nothing but the weighted average of each of the bonds duration. And here the weights are basically always on the basis of the percentage of the funds, whatever you have allotted to the each bond for your investment. That same thing is applied for both McLeish duration and the modified duration. So this is what basically this, that's why the duration is basically considered as a price sensitivity measure. So mathematically, if you want to calculate the duration, you can take the derivative of the equation of the price of a bond with respect to the yield. Then you divide this bond's price and express the resulting equation in the absolute value. That means if I write mathematically duration, what is duration? The duration is equal to whatever I say dp by p divided by your dy. That means it is basically nothing but 1 by 1 plus y into your summation t is equal to 1 to n t into pv your cft divided by your price of the bond. Price of the bond. So dp by p or dp by p0, what basically you can see dp by p is the percentage change in the bond price. Better you can write p0. So dp by p0 is the percentage change in the price of the bond. dy is equal to the small change in the yield. N is the maturity period. And this is the this expression, this particular expression basically is the weighted average of the time period, which is nothing but the duration. And here basically this, if you go by this mathematical formulation, if you calculate this duration using this, taking the first order derivative with respect to the change in interest rate or change in the yield, then you always find this modified duration. You always find the modified duration. So the weighted average of the time period is called the Maclaus duration, and the equation which basically defines the percentage change in the bond price for a small change in the yield is called the modified duration. So if you want to consider duration as a price sensitivity measure, then you can always find that it will give you the modified duration, because you see, you know that your price of the bond is what? Price of the bond will be your C. You tell me 1 minus 1 by 1 plus y. 1 by 1 plus y to the power n divided by y plus your f by 1 plus y to the power n. So if you take the first derivative of this equation, then again divide it with respect to the p, then what you will find with respect to your y? Then it will be c by y square into 1 minus 1 by 1 plus y to the power n plus your n into f minus c by y divided by 1 plus y to the power n plus 1 divided by the, it will the first order derivative, then you divide it with respect to the price of the bond. Then we can find out the modified duration. This is basically nothing but the modified duration. So whatever way you are, this is your bond price formula. Then if you take the first order derivative, then you will get this. Then this divided by the price of the bond, that will basically give you the modified duration of that particular bond. So if the cash flow is distributed annually, duration basically reflects the years. If the cash flow is semi-annually, the duration basically reflects the half years. But generally, duration convention is duration is always expressed in the annual measure. So if you want to use this cash flow, which is basically in the semi-annual basis, then you have to consider this always. You have to convert those things to the annual measure. So annual duration is nothing but the duration of a bond with n payments per year divided by the n. So if n is equal to 2, then it divided by 2. If n is equal to 3, then it will be divided by 3, like that. So this is the way basically this duration is basically measured. So already I told you about the concepts related to, or the characteristics which are linked to the duration measures and all. Then we have another concept also we use, that is called the convexity, which is also used in the context of the bond. So what basically the convexity is? Already all of you know the convex function and all. So the convexity is basically, you see, whenever you go for a price yield relationship, if you go for, this is your yield, this is your price, then you'll find a curve like this. So that means the price yield curve is not linear and it is convex from below. Generally, this is your yield. If your yield is increasing, your price is declining. So that's why we get a price yield curve like this. So in this case, there is an impact. Convexity basically measures how the both shaped the price yield curve is. How basically, what is the whenever we talk about the price yield relationship, we have to always look at that what kind of relationship basically is exists in that case. So if why the convexity is a desired concept, okay. In this case, if you see that the convexity of the price yield relationship basically if you see, whenever there is a increase in the interest rate, the rate at which the price of the bond declines becomes slower. That already you know that. Similarly, when the yields basically will decline, the rate at which the price of the bond will increase, that becomes faster. Whenever the yield is increasing, the price of the bond, the rate at which the price of the bond declines, that becomes slower. But when the yield is declining, the rate at which the price of the bond increases, that becomes faster. Therefore, the convexity is a considerably important concept whenever we are explaining the bond price and yield relationship. Suppose if you have two bonds with equal duration, but one has greater convexity, then what basically will happen, you would want the bond with greater convexity because it would have better price performance when the yields, whether yields rise or yields fall. So if some bonds are available which have the equal duration, but the convexity is different, so in that case, the investor may prefer a particular bond whose convexity is more, because if there is a change in the yield, then the price performance always will be more in the context of the bond which has the greater convexity. So in this case, the convexity is nothing but, or it basically measures the change in the slope of the price yield curve. Change in the slope of the price yield curve. So that's why the convexity can be measured. Already we know that your modified duration is nothing but your dP by di, I means interest rate, by P. And your dP by di is nothing but it is the slope of that particular line. So the convexity basically is a measure of the curvature of the price yield relationship. The convexity is a measure of the curvature of the price yield relationship. And because the modified duration is the slope of the curve at a given yield, the convexity basically indicates the change in the duration. The convexity basically indicates the change in the duration. So mathematically, if you want to put the convexity is nothing but the second derivative of the price with respect to yield. Then that means it is the d square P by di square. This is the convexity. D square P by di square divided by your P. That means the convexity is the percentage change in dP by di for a given change in the yield. So it is basically your d square P by di square divided by the P. That is basically convexity. That means the percentage change in dP by di for a given change in the yield. Change in the yield. So this basically, this measures, convexity is a measure of how much bond price yield curve deviates from the linear approximation of that particular curve. So if I draw a line here like this, it is basically the linear approximation. So how much this particular curve is deviating from that linear approximation, that is basically measured through the concept of the convexity. So convexity is basically if the bond has no features like callable or potable kind of thing, then convexity always a positive number. That means the price yield curve always lies above the modified duration or the tangent line, because modified duration is nothing but this. So that's why what basically we can observe here, there is an inverse relationship between coupon and convexity. there is a direct relationship between maturity and the convexity. And there is an inverse relationship between the yield and the convexity along this price yield curve. So that means the price yield curve is more convex at lower yields and less convex at the higher yields. So that's why there is an inverse relationship between the yield and the convexity. So therefore, if you go by that our formula, whatever we have seen, convexity is basically nothing but it is the derivative by taking the derivative of the equation for dp by dy and dividing the resulting equation by the current price. Okay. So if you have this price equation with you, then using that you can find out the convexity by taking the derivatives 2 times. If you take the first order derivative, then it will give you the duration. Then if you go for the second order, then you can get this convexity. I'll take a small example. We have some 2-3 minutes time. Let there is a bond which maturity period is 3 years. Maturity is 3 years. Coupon is let 12%. In your YTM is equal to 9%. So if you want to calculate this convexity, then how we can calculate? Because by the formula, if you go by the d square p by di square, then you will find that using our price formula, this will be 1 by 1 plus I whole square into, let me write here, d square p by di square is equal to your 1 by 1 plus I whole square into t is equal to 1 to n. You take this second order derivative as t square plus t into cf divided by 1 plus I to the power t. So convexity is divided by the p. So that means if I say here is 1, 2, 3, the cash flow, that the par value of the bond is 1000. It is 1000, f is equal to 1000. Then this will be 120, 120, and this will be the end of the period. Third year also will get 120. Fourth year, this is a bond which is 3 years bond, means it is at a time you will get or after third year you will get 120. No, 1120. So in that case, you can find out the present value at the rate of 9%. Then you can find out your t square plus t. Then you multiply this with respect to your 1 by 1 plus I square, you can find out. Then in that case, the convexity can be measured once you find out this term. Whatever thing you will find out from this term, divided by the price of the bond, that will give you the convexity. So I will little bit explain more about these things, about the different other features when we move to the other markets. So before we close, I just share one thing with you.